So look at the beginning of Hebrews chapter 7. What it does is it gives a concise statement on this person, Melchizedek. So let me read Hebrews chapter 7, verses 1 through 3 to get us started. This Melchizedek was king of Salem and priest of God Most High. He met Abraham returning from the defeat of the kings and blessed him. And Abraham gave him a tenth of everything. First, the name Melchizedek means king of righteousness, then also king of Salem means king of peace. Without father or mother, without genealogy, without beginning of days or end of life, resembling the Son of God, he remains a priest forever. Now, the author does a couple of things here which are very much in line with Jewish practices of interpretation during that time. First of all, he is interested in Melchizedek's name, and he actually shows that there are parts of the name that are related to key ideas in the broader context of the passage. Melchizedek, for instance, you have Melech, which is the Hebrew word for king. You have Zedek, which is the word for righteousness. And then you have Shalem, which is the word for peace or soundness or wholeness. So the author kind of unpacks that, and he says that Melchizedek's name really kind of points us in the direction of a king of righteousness who is also a king of peace. Jewish people found that terms that were directly related in terms of their form really were significant because of the things that they alluded to or they connected your thoughts to. So he talks about Melchizedek's name. The other thing he does here is an argument from silence. He actually is focusing on what is not in the passage. In verse 3, he says, without father or mother, without genealogy. Now, this is significant if you think about the comparison with the Levitical priest, because you got to be a Levitical priest based on who your parents were. You had to be from the tribe of Levi. But Melchizedek appears in the story without any reference to his heritage at all, and he actually is a very revered person by Abraham, and this is super significant for our author of Hebrews. So in the context, he is bringing up the ideas of Melchizedek's name and also the fact that he is a priest that is not from the tribe of Levi. The other big argument that he makes as you move to chapter 7, verses 4 through 10, is that when we read the narrative itself, what we find is this context, this story shows that the very father of the Jewish people, Abraham, actually gives a tithe to Melchizedek from the goods that were taken in the battle that he has just fought. Now, the reason why the author thinks this is so significant is because according to the law, the people give tithes to the Levites. But the Levitical priests, in this case, because in a sense they're still in the body of Father Abraham, are actually participating in giving a tithe to this priest Melchizedek, which the author finds very, very interesting. Now, this is a bit of Jewish thought here where you have the children in the body of the ancestor. They're not born yet, but they, as the people who will come from Abraham, participate in this giving of a tithe to Melchizedek. This doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to us, but it was a very Jewish way of thinking. In fact, when I was teaching my class on Hebrews in Israel to a whole group of Jewish students, we got to the end of this passage, and to them, it made perfect sense. The logic here just worked for them because of being so steeped in the Old Testament and the way of thinking about these things. So the Levitical priest, in essence, are giving a tithe to Melchizedek, showing the greatness of Melchizedek, and also you have the blessing given here, which shows the superiority of Melchizedek as well. So the author is really carrying out this argument, this logic, to make the case for the fact that what we have in the passages that are there in the Old Testament is that Melchizedek was so great, he is even greater than the Levitical priests. And this leads him to the conclusion that we can then move to a discussion of what it means for Jesus to be a high priest according to the order of Melchizedek.